folks, what's up? This is Michael in the wee hours of the night and the graveyard with your daily trivia question. Once again, weekend's over. It's Monday already, trying to jump back in it, folks. But it's a holiday weekend coming up, so that's something to kind of work our way towards and look forward to for sure. All right, so the answer to the previous trivia question was none other than Honest Abraham Lincoln. Mr. Abraham Lincoln, we all know he was the president of the United States that led us through the Civil War. I hope we all know that. But on May 22nd of 1849, Abraham Lincoln received a patent, number 6469, for a device to lift boats through a buoyancy process over obstructions while they were floating along the rivers and so forth. An invention which was never manufactured. However, it would eventually make him the only U.S. president ever to hold a patent for an invention. Now, Lincoln displayed a lifelong fascination with mechanical things, with tinkering around with things and fixing them and so forth. He also learned river navigation early in life on the Ohio and Mississippi rivers as a teenager on what was called flatboats. Okay, and this was also the era of steamboats as well that it would eventually kind of come along. So it wasn't uncommon for flatboats to get stuck on shoals or sandbars or other obstructions. Now, in this combination of things, all this criteria would prove to be a perfect recipe for ingenuity by none other than Abraham Lincoln. So Lincoln, he began work on his invention between sessions of Congress in 1848 while he was serving his only one term in the House of Representatives. He would brainstorm by kind of going back and forth between sessions and getting stranded on sandbars, ironically enough. And this would provide the needed inspiration, as you can imagine, for fine-tuning this design. He actually whittled a scale model by hand. He would build this model, and he eventually brought it to Washington with him. He hired an attorney to help him apply for the patent, and he would subsequently receive. It's kind of an interesting story. This was a remarkable achievement for a number of reasons. First and foremost of which, Lincoln's schooling was very limited. He didn't have a whole lot of schooling, period, in his entire lifetime. So there was no formal training in science or engineering. He whittled this whole thing together with a knife and a piece of wood. It's really cool. There's a couple of pictures over there that were represented in the trivia question, and there's a diagram there on the top. He would go on to advocate for so-called internal improvements on waterways while he was kind of grooming himself for president. And this would be the equivalent of what we would call like infrastructure projects and so forth, drafting these improvements for the good of the people. Really remarkable story. Now, the actual critique by the patent office in Washington when he submitted his idea and got the patent, and they reviewed it, this is what they said, quote, "We hope the author of it will have better success in presiding as chief magistrate over the people of the entire Union than he has had as an inventor in introducing his invention upon the western waters." Wow, a little harsh. But as you can imagine, with Abraham Lincoln, I do think it's safe to say that he went on to do bigger and better things. All right, folks, let's get this week started with a brand new trivia question. This is a pretty cool trivia question. Check this out. For May 23rd, on this day in 1958, while working at a book company in Lincoln, Nebraska, a man named Clifton Hillegas, remember that first name, produces these student study guides for the first time in shortened pamphlet form that would go on to be used by many students as an alternative to actually reading the assigned literature. And if it wouldn't have been for these things, I would have never have gotten through high school. Peace out, folks.